Hey Bonsai peeps, Mike Toy, Bonsai Boise. Gonna do a quick walkthrough here of my trees in late April of 2019. So full spring update coming at ya. Alright, so here we go. I'm gonna start off here in what I call propagation station. Now let me do just a quick look here. So here is the lay of the land. Got 3 benches set up. They're super sturdy and durable, but they're not much to look at. And I'm kind of setting up and rearranging things today, so it's going to look a little rough around the edges. But let's go ahead and start. So I call it propagation station because these are almost all just cuttings and seedlings and other propagation techniques. I do have one actual bonsai here, and it's the tiger bark ficus, which has turned out to be a pretty fun little bonsai tree. I got this at Albertsons for $20 last year, and it's turned out to be pretty fun. I got tons of little clippings from it. But up here, mostly Ficus benjamina. I do have a couple Siberian elm cuttings, which so far, if I can get it to focus here, they're showing some signs of life, but remains to be seen whether or not they'll actually take root and survive. But yeah, mostly Ficus benjaminas here, some Scheffleras, and other random cuttings. Over here it's mostly Scheffleras. Got a few other Ficus benjaminas up here somewhere hidden in the midst of it all, but mostly Scheffleras on this side. And then I've got some willow cuttings down here at the bottom. Willow cuttings are fun because they take root just about any time of year, and you pretty much can just cut it right off the branch, stick it in some dirt, water it, and there you go. So that's it for propagation station. Moving on. Okay, so like I said, there's not a whole lot of organization to it right now, so just kind of forgive me a little bit. Here we've got some little Schefflera clumps. I've been experimenting a lot this winter with Scheffleras and Ficus. I do have a lot of these Ficus, tiger bark Ficus from the one that I just showed a minute ago. So I got some dirt on this one. They take root just about as easy as Ficus benjamina. So got lots of those around. Got some seeds here. Red maple seeds, just picked them up. It fell off a tree right in front of me as I was leaving the gym the other day, so I thought, well, okay, seems like a sign. So I grabbed it. I've got about 3 or 4 different types of willow around here, just from different types of willow trees around town. So I couldn't even begin to remember what kind they all are, but do have different kinds. Look at that. So this is a new one this year. This is a Sarissa. It's a little windy out here tonight all of a sudden. Anyways, this has turned out to be a fun little tree. So I've never had one of these before. I didn't even really know what it was. Some of my older videos on it, you'll see I called it the mystery tree because I wasn't really sure. But I'm fairly certain now it's a Sarissa. Got some oaks going on their 2nd year now. If I can get it to focus. Focusing is like the bane of my existence. I can never get it to work. This is the Schefflera clump, which looks in really rough shape right now. It's really shaggy and just, you know, needs a little bit of TLC. But if I can get it turned around here, give you a better look. Move this out of the way. This is the Schefflera clump that I did the video on this past winter. It's doing real well. It had 8 pieces altogether, 2 of which did not make it. There was one here that didn't make it, and I replaced it with this guy. I actually cut it off right there. Cut it off right there and stuck it in, and it took root. And then there was one back there that didn't make it. And then here, this is an interesting note. This guy here. So look how tiny all these little leaves are. It's been that way for months. Was a jungle in there, I can't really get a good shot, but yeah, it's been that way for months. Whereas all the other ones leafed out, grew regular Schefflera size leaves. That one just grew tons and tons of tiny leaves. So never seen one do that. Don't know what it's about. We'll see. Shantung maple clippings. You can see they're doing well. I've yet to ever be successful propagating from the Shantung maple. But this year's my year. I can just feel it. Now I will say, full disclosure here, that I have seen these Shantung maples leaf out like this before, when I took cuttings, and then they would just shrivel up and die at some point. I've never seen them leaf out this much though, so I'm hoping that's a good sign. I think it is. We'll see. Amur maples going on its second year, another one going on its second year, and another one going on its second year. Avocado tree, the weirdest, most sensitive tree of all time for me. This thing will grow leaves, about 4 or 5 of them, about this big. Leafs out real big, and then they just sort of wilt and fall off and die. And then it sprouts new ones, and it's done that a dozen times in the past 6 months. So, I don't know what to make of it. Korean lilac, which I have not done anything with yet, just got it yesterday. So, be watching for a video on that. Here's the Siberian elm that I did the repot on recently, about a month or so ago. See, it's doing well. It did survive the major hack job I gave it. Let's see if I can get around here. It's, the ugly duckling. It's a long-term project, but it's fun. I like it. My original Amur maple, it's doing real well. I left it outside all year this time instead of bringing it inside. I noticed when I bring it inside and then put it out in the spring, what happens is that it leaves out too soon, and then the leaves turn into this kind of like a waxy paper, and it gets real weak, and basically it'll just linger like that forever. In fact, I let it linger like that for I did it one full season, and then I did it again the next season. And then last season I just said, screw this, and I cut off the leaves, and that kicked it out of its funk, and it just sprouted new growth. So that's what I'm doing with it. But you can see how skinny it still is for being 5 years old. Rub that off there. But it's not a whole lot to brag about, but it's one of those trees that just means something to me. Here's another, speaking of trees that just mean something to me, silver maple. Everybody says silver maples don't make good bonsais, but I disagree. Yes, the leaves are huge, but I haven't begun the process of leaf reduction yet. All you do is you cut the leaves off at the stem, and then 2 smaller leaves grow in its place. You can do that 3 or 4 times a season. The reason I like this one, as you can see, is that it's got this cool loopty feature. I like that. Hibiscus. That was the air layer that came off of the plant out front last year. Silver maple. I call this the Gavin silver maple, named after my son Gavin. Forsythia. This is going to need some work here very soon, probably next weekend, maybe even tomorrow if I can get around to it. It's a good tree. Had some dieback this year, and a lot of the soil kind of eroded off, as you can see, so the roots look kind of scary looking, like a skeleton or something. So that needs some love. Katsura Japanese maple. It's doing real well, except for this one goofy bald spot right on top, right in the middle. Kind of a conspicuous place for that to happen, but it is what it is. I'm going to do a repot on that. Probably not this year, actually. Western Sand Cherry. These are fun trees. My second one. My first one died, unfortunately. Let's see if I can get up. They're cool. They flower out in the spring. It didn't this year because, honestly, I'm surprised that it even lived. It was on the verge of death all year last year. But, as you can see, it bounced back and it's alive now. My only juniper. I call it my Mr. Miyagi tree. I get more comments and likes and attention on this tree than any of the other trees. It was just a $20 special at a garden store. Brought it home, hacked away on half of it, put it in this pot. It's definitely shaggy and needs a haircut, as you can see. It's not like, frankly, I'm actually a little embarrassed to be showing it off right now because it's in pretty bad shape. These were just cuttings off of a much larger Virginia creeper, again at my last house. And I wasn't able to take the large one with me, but I got these two clippings and they took. So, Ficus benjamina, I've got a few videos on this one, 2 or 3 at least. It looks a little scraggly right now because I had to cut off some of the leaves that had little purple spots on them, as you can see right there. It's from too much sun exposure too quickly. I didn't really transition them outside, I just sort of brought them out carelessly like. Big fat crazy Catonister. Massive root slash trunk on it. Lots of deadwood though, so it needs some work. And it's in this ugly training pot. But the reason I have it in there is because I thought it was dead. Did some work on it 2 winters ago. Thought it was dead, left it for dead. And then one day it just leafed out and I thought, oh, okay, it's alive. So I'll be doing a repot on that one real soon actually. Silver maple. Another one that's about 5 years old but just means something to me is all. This big bump here, just to explain what that is, I tied it in a knot when it was just a few weeks old, just a tiny little shoot out of the ground. I was brand new at Bonsai and I thought, I wonder if you can tie these things in a knot. Turns out you can, but it creates this big ugly bulge. So there's that. Another Ficus benjamina. I would call this the sister of this one. Catonister. Hope you can get a good look at these. Colors are kind of blending in with other trees. It might be hard to tell, but here's an oak. Got a bunch of these little oaks last year. These are all going on their 2nd year. This is a, I call it a triple trunk oak. They're fun. Another oak right here. Amur maple right there, going on its 2nd year. Another one there going on its 2nd year. Silver maple, just posted a video on this a few weeks ago. cotonoster. I've done a video on this one in the past. Probably have to do another one here real soon on it and just give it a little maintenance trim. Little Schefflera clump. I just did this for fun one day in the winter. Wintertime gets really boring for bonsai because there's just only so much you can do. So I had some Schefflera stems and I just stuck them in here and thought, I'm just going to create another clump style Schefflera, and I'll do it the long way. Here's another oak leaf sumac, aka Rostrelobata. I just like saying that word, Rostrelobata. Yet another Schefflera clump. Boy, do I have enough Scheffleras and ficus to save a forest. This one actually was from, if I can remember right, when I did a video on my Schefflera bonsai, right? This one there. Alright, I'm not going to try that. When I did the repot on that, I took a bunch of clippings, stuck it in there, and then what happened is I just started, every time I had what I considered to be decent looking clippings or something, I just stuck it in there. And so there it remains, and it's growing into its own weird little miscellaneous forest clump. Another cotonoster that I also thought was dead, so I stuck in this little training deal, and it lived. Okay, quick look at this. This is Loki the willow. This is the one that last summer, the Boise River, swam across the river. Didn't have a knife or clippers or anything on me. I just snapped a branch off of a willow tree. Just snapped it off. It's an ugly, ugly job. Stuck it in the water for a couple hours while we swam. Came home, put it in the pot, and what do you know? Willows, being the tough trees that they are, it grew. This, I am told, is a blue spruce, though I've seen pictures online of very young cedars, and it actually resembles those too. So I don't know, remains to be seen. This was given to me by a friend of mine at work. Thanks, Michelle. Alright, let's go look at some others here real quick. Okay, here we are. This was what I would call my attempt at Yamadori. Not a successful attempt, as you can see. I posted a video on this, and I don't see any signs of life at all on this thing. Anywhere. No buds. No leaves. I even chipped away at it. Where's that? Turn it around here. I chipped away at it a little bit. Go on, focus there. Just to see if there was any signs of life, and there's kind of not, so yeah, no hope there. Blueberry bush. Starting to blue. Raspberry bush. Starting to raz. Willow. Growing strong. Shantung maple, my favorite. Doing real well. Back budding all over the place. This was my safety branch here, just in case my air layers did not work, though so far they seem to be, although you can see a difference between these leaves and these leaves. You see a pretty clear and striking difference there. So I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. I guess a good sign, because it means that possibly the air layer is working and it's slowing down the growth, and they're not dead, so you know. Lilac. This is actually called a presidential grevy. Got it in a huge pot just so I can let it grow and get big. I like lilacs. Silver maple. Had this one a long time for me, you know, about 6 years. It grew vigorously last year. This year it's got a couple of disturbing signs, though. I don't know what is going on here exactly. I think it might be overwatered. So I've actually took it down a few notches on watering it. So we'll see how that goes, because those are disturbing signals. Anywho, so that's a look at the collection from propagation station to the trees and these. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night.